welcome parents. This week we're going to talk about financial wellness and the top tips that we have for you from our financial expert during the COVID-19 pandemic. So today we have Helen, a financial wellness coach and wealth consultant with over 10 years of experience in financial planning. Through one of the leading financial institutions in Canada, she has coached thousands of people with their personal finance and financial literacy. Helen is passionate about helping people to confidently navigate their life and finances through a practical and emotionally intelligent approach. A fun fact, Helen has traveled to 32 countries and has experienced all kinds of adventurous escapades. I love traveling. Welcome, Helen. What was your most memorable travel experience?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me today and for the grand introduction. I would say, gosh, I have so many memorable travel stories. I'd just say one of the experiences that I'm most proud of is when I saved enough to travel around the world for 7 months, and by putting away 20% of my pay for 3 years. There are so many other insights that I want to share with you today. I will probably pass you more in-depth blog and resources so you can forward to parents later.
Wonderful. Okay, well, my first question to you, Helen, is how should parents involve their children and make decisions as a family? In your opinion, when do you think children should start learning about their day-to-day finances?
That's a really good question. Involving children in finances is an ongoing lifelong lesson. I'm a strong believer that children should learn about finances from the get-go. So including them and involving them in the day-to-day financial decisions really goes a long way. So here are 4 ways I would say are really fun and a creative kind of engagement to get your children involved. First one is about empowering co-leadership. So treat your children as co-leaders in your household, as their actions and inactions can directly impact your family finances. For instance, you may grant your children a leadership position as a co-chief financial officer in charge of the operating cost of food, toys, and family activities. As a result, this really empowers your children to feel that their decisions matter, their input is invaluable, and they are responsible for creating a healthy cash flow for the family. So give it a try and empower your kids to really co-create and co-lead with you. You might be surprised to see how capable and resourceful they are. This is also a great way to help your children develop leadership qualities at a young age. And so that's one, by involving your children as co-leaders. And I would say second one is embodying value-based budgeting. So values are who you are. Values show up in your choices, and those choices are visible in your behavior. So your children's values show up in their behaviors too. By looking for the values in their behavior, you can learn what's important to them, what they prioritize, how they make choices, and how those choices impact family finances. So when values are honored, your children often show signs of joy, excitement, and high engagement. One way to involve your children in making a budget is to find out what they value, why is that important to them, and to encourage them to budget for what they love. Let's say your children maybe love reading books and wants to buy all the books when visiting bookstores. Recognizing this is one of their values, you may let them know that you want to support them, and you will need their help making some adjustments to other activities. And I want to say just the value-based budgeting really helps your children learn to choose, prioritize, and increase the likelihood of sticking with the plan as they learn to take ownership and honor what matters most to them. Yeah, so that's the second one. I would say the third one is asking for feedback. Here's a question to the parents. When was the last time you as parents ask your children for feedback on how you are doing with your money? So asking for feedback is a doorway for parents to deepen the relationship and the learning about the children. This type of engagement really helps the parents to set an example of how to embody vulnerability and a learner's mindset for their children. And as a result, they're more likely to show their true self and vulnerability. If you haven't asked your children about their assessment on your relationship with money, now is the time. So many parents I work with find it's helpful to first share their self feedback as a conversation starter. For instance, mommy is learning about my relationship with money. I'm curious to hear your conversations on how I manage money. I think I'm good at tracking all expenses. However, one area I could improve on is avoiding impulse buy. Um, on things that I don't need just because they're on sale. And really ask your children, what do you think of mommy did well and where could I improve? Yeah, give it a try. I know that takes courage, but you'll be surprised that you see what your children have observed of you. So last but not least is to help children learn how to respect and share what they have as an important way to develop a healthy and responsible relationship with money. I wanted to share a story of one of my parent coaching clients named Kristen. She teaches her son to take good care of his possessions as toys, books, and clothing. And he learns that things will be taken away or not be replaced if he breaks them or leaves them unorganized. And that respecting the values of his stuff means that they will continue to be around for him to play with. I would say in addition, Kristen also helps her son to learn about the values of sharing and the responsibility of saving resources. She actually sets aside a donation box and every month and then checks in with her son to ask him if he'd like to give away anything. And I remember this one day, Kristen had a huge smile on her face and told me her son held out like one of his favorite books and I said, Mommy, I want to give this to a new family now. And that just warms my heart. Yeah, so those are the 4 ways to maybe get your children involved with family day-to-day financial decisions. Give it a try and see what that means.
Thank you, Helen. Those are great tips. I especially love the last two, asking for feedback and giving your children the agency to be responsible for their possessions. That's really good. Okay, so I have another question. So question 2, what are some common pitfalls that parents face when managing family cash flow? What are some best practices you recommend?
Yeah, no, that's a really awesome question. I'd say some of the most common pitfalls parents tend to face when managing their budget are procrastination and not being able to stick to their plan. To prevent this from happening, getting a SMART goal with value-based budgeting is my recommendation. So value-based budgeting is about aligning your values with actions and focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So by setting the SMART goals, you engage your internal drive to create and stick with the plan better. It's a lot more like action that's based on love, based on inspiration and internal kind of motivation rather than action that's a fear or boredom driven.
Okay. All right. So, well, I have another question then. Currently, many parents are worried about jobs, safety, and living expenses due to the pandemic. What are the best practical strategies and steps that they can take now to lessen the impact of the pandemic for their family? Or in the worst case scenario, cope with the loss of the jobs for both parents in a large family?
Yeah, no, clearly this is a really timely question. I believe choice follows awareness, and having a broader awareness of where you are at financially and emotionally will help increase your ability to choose optimum ways to work with your circumstances. And before I share the practical piece, I want to just take this moment to acknowledge that talking about money can be sensitive and emotional, especially for parents who are experiencing a negative. due to the pandemic. You may feel worried, stressed, overwhelmed, frustrated, or perhaps you feel calm and ready to make changes and take control of your finances. So these emotions you're having, they're normal. And because they show up because it just really shows how much you care about your family financial health. So you're not alone. Yes, and if you're reading or listening to this, just know that you have already taken the first step towards a positive change you want to make for your family finances. Now just gonna loop back to your question earlier. So recognizing parents are at different stages in their financial journey, really depending on family circumstances. I'd say parents with debt can take advantage of opportunities offered by financial institutions such as home equity takeout, debt consolidation loans, debt payment deferment programs. Really check with your financial institutions on what's available. And I want to highlight the importance of paying off debt that costs you the most, such as credit cards and loans from private lenders, because the cost of borrowing on these products can range between 20 to 300%. So they're really high compared with the typical interest rates of maybe 2 to 8% on mortgage or personal loans. And I just can't stress this enough. So pay off your credit cards and high interest debt first. That's the first way to stop the bleeding. and this will help you really feed up your cash flow and build savings much faster. So that's one. And when you mentioned about parents with no income, I would say, yes, explore the government income supplement programs, like Canada Saving Response Benefit, as well as for rent expenses. You can explore BC temporary rental supplement programs, and just know those programs are coming to an end soon. So take a look and see what's available, and the more information you get, then you can make more informed decisions from that point. Thirdly, I'd say parents who have lost their jobs can, I know easy said and done, but it really is to actively look for new job opportunities, as government income supplement programs are not guaranteed and then they're not indefinite, as I mentioned earlier. So that being said, one option is to take any work that can help you get through this difficult time. And know that the type of work may not be ideal, but trust that making radical changes to help fulfill your family financial needs is a solution to a temporary problem. And when the situation improves, this too shall pass. Speaking of mindset, I'd say parents with more of an adventurous and a curious mindset, this might be a good time to apply for a field work you've never tried before or have always dreamed about. Or if you have enough savings, maybe give yourself permission to take a couple months off to spend quality time with yourself and your kids. And just remember that you are always a choice, and not choosing is a choice. Last but not least, I want to say parents who have no idea where to start, and I love this one, is that you can work with a financial planner to create a plan. And having a plan and consistently ensure that you stick with the plan is important. People often associate financial planning with investment, in mutual funds and stocks, and think that if you don't have the money, you don't need a plan. You're not going to invest in the market. But what I believe is financial planning is about life planning. After all, it's about your life and how you can leverage money as a tool or a friend to help you achieve your dreams and take care of what matters most to you. And here I want to share one of my favorite proverbs is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So get a plan now, and no matter where you are on your financial journey, you can always begin again now. And many financial institutions actually offer, to help you to create a plan at a zero cost. Some even pay you to do a plan. So take a look, see what's available as well.
That's fantastic. Very good tips right there. Okay, so I just want to summarize all of your key points that we have covered today. So Helen talked about involving your children as co-leaders in your day-to-day family financial life. And she mentioned making a plan and creating a budget that aligns with your family's values. And then the third point that she mentioned was to always pay down the highest interest debt first, such as credit cards and private lenders. That's crazy that some cards go up to 300% interest rate. That's like highway robbery.
I know, yes.
Okay, so Helen, what is the challenge for this week? What is something fun that parents should do with their financial wellness journey?
Okay, well, here I do have one. It is a fun, but I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be easy or comfortable, and that's why it's called a challenge. So the challenge for you as parents is to have a family money conversation with your family members. I mean, whoever's living in the same household. So with your kids, spouse, parents, or possibly grandparents. And here I have a couple kind of question prompts for you as a guidance. So first one is, what's my relationship with money? And I have a little hint on maybe it's a tool, money is a friend, or is money a date, enemy, stress creator, troublemaker, shame producer. It's a love-hate relationship, was a leader-follower relationship, or something else. So that's one question. Second question is, what values am I honoring by saying yes or no to each financial decision? And really kind of reflect on the values, what matters most to you when you say yes or no. And lastly is for parents, what are examples I want to set for my kids in relation to money? I know that whatever you do or don't do, your kids are following and copying you.
Very good. I especially like that last one. Parents have such a huge impact on their children. Everything they do is watch, absorb, and learn for the future. So it's definitely important to have these conversations now and to really be, I guess, to really think and be mindful of what you're doing as a family and to involve your kids from a young age. All right. Thank you so much, Helen, for dropping by today and sharing with us your insights about financial wellness. So, parents
Thanks.
this week, make sure you do the challenge and post your unique concerns and situations related to the topic. We'll love to hear from you. And once again, thanks a lot, Helen. Everybody, bye for now. Take care.
Thank you.